Okay guys, and this is our third video on the multiplier, and in this video we're going to look at the simplest version of the multiplier that you can use, okay? And basically what we're trying to show is the relationship between national income and an initial injection. And what we're saying is that an initial injection will cause national income to rise by more than the initial injection because of the multiplier effect. And it does this by causing the aggregate demand to shift outwards by more than the initial injection. So the initial injection will cause aggregate demand to shift out from 81 to 82, and the multiplier effect will cause it to shift out even further from 82 to 83. Okay, so there are three different versions of the multiplier, and we'll start to look at the simplest form. The simplest form can take on two versions, and the reason is they are the same. We saw in the last video, that 1 minus the MPC equals the MPS. So both this and this are the same. Now, it has been calculated that the MPC is 0.9. Calculate the size of the multiplier. Okay, well it's 1 over 1 minus the MPC, which is here, so it's 1 over 1 minus 0.9. Okay, well 1 minus 0.9 is 0.1, so it's 1 over 0.1. 1 divided by 0.1 simply equals 10. Now what we are saying here, this means that an injection of €10 would be multiplied by 10 to give an increase in national income of €100. Okay, it is the multiplier times the initial injection, which equals the resultant increase in GDP. Now, having a look at this, again, I would take a photo on your phone or something like that, and we'll have a look at this using the document camera, okay? So the first one, the MPC is 0.8, okay? So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, okay? The MPC is 0.8. Okay, MPC equals 0.8. And it asks us to find the multiplier. Well, the multiplier that we've just learned, okay, equals 1 over 1 minus MPC. Okay, so therefore the multiplier equals 1 over 1 minus 0.8, which equals 1 over 0.2, which equals 5. Okay, any injection into the circular flow of income will cause national income to rise by 5 times that injection. Okay, now it says, what will this multiplier cause national income to increase by if there is an injection of €20? So I'll write this down, okay? The change in GDP equals the change in the injection, or the injection itself, okay? But technically all investment is an injection. Technically all consumption is an injection. So it has to be the change in the injection, okay? Multiplied by the multiplier. Okay, now, so what we're saying is the change in GDP equals the change in the injection, and that was an extra €20, multiplied by the multiplier, which we worked out as 5. So the change in GDP, national income, will rise by 20 times 5, which is €100. Now that is important, because what we're saying is that any initial injection, any increase in an injection, will cause national income to rise by the multiplier times that. So if the multiplier was 5, and in real life it's never that big, but if the multiplier was 5, if the government wanted to close a recessionary gap of 100 billion, let's say, they would only have to spend 20 billion and let everybody else in the economy, as they receive this extra income and then spend more money, well then everybody else in the economy would make up the other 80 billion. So that's something that's very important to know. Now I will just while we're here, I will just do an important one that does come up, and I hope the camera doesn't disconnect, and it seems to be that we've gotten away with it. Okay, so another thing now, if I write down the formula again, the change in GDP equals the change in the injection multiplied by the multiplier. Now, what I'm saying here, this is being multiplied. So this is all one, I don't know, one variable, we'll say, which it isn't. But anyway, it's being multiplied, right? So if I do this, I can go the multiplier, okay, and divide both sides by the number before the letter we're trying to find, or both sides by the exact same number, this cancels off with this. And then so what we've got is the desired change in GDP, okay, divided by the multiplier would equal the required change in injection. Now, who's going to make that injection when we talk about fiscal policy later on? That's going to be the government. Okay, so if the government is trying to work it, if they know the recessionary gap, and they want to engage in a fiscal policy, spend more money, reduce taxes, so on and so forth. They are not equal, by the way, okay? But if they wanted to do that, then basically what they would have to do is, in order to find out the injection, they'd need to say, okay, well, how big is the gap? How big is the multiplier? If we divide the recessionary gap by the multiplier, we'll find out the injection. So if we kind of come back up here and we said, let's say that they knew that the recessionary gap was 100 million or 100 billion or whatever it is, okay? I understand that I'm writing below, okay? And they knew that the multiplier was 5. So the recessionary gap is 100. The multiplier is 5. Then they could work out that they would have to spend 20. Okay? That's all I'm saying. They've worked out the injection. They can go backwards in that case. All right? Now, let's get rid of that one and let's go back up here with the camera and then go here. The MPC is 0.7. What will this multiplier cause national income to decrease by if there is a leakage of 60? Very important, okay? So the MPC, okay. So, and then the multiplier, 1 over 1 minus MPC. Okay, so what we have here is the multiplier equals 1 over 1 minus 0.7 equals 1 over 0.3, which equals 3.33 recurring. Okay, now the next thing that asks is how much will national income decrease by, or how much will it not rise by, more accurately, if there's a leakage of 60. Okay, and what I've actually done here, I said that the change in GDP equals the change now in the leakage multiplied by the multiplier. Okay, and what that actually is we've got 60 multiplied by 3 1/3, and I kind of round that off to like 200. Okay, 200 euro. So what we're saying is national income will not be as high as it was because of by 200 billion, million, whatever, because the leakage was not multiplied around the economy and therefore did not give rise to an increase in national income times the multiplier. Now, the MPS is 0.1. What will the multiplier cause national income to decrease by if there is a leakage of 50? Okay, so the MPS equals 0.1. I'll just put a line under that, okay? And what we're saying is the multiplier equals now 1 over the MPS. And so what we've got is the multiplier equals 1 over 0.1, which just equals 10, okay? So the change in GDP, now this is an increase foregone, equals, sorry, I better check, it was 50 euro, I believe, and it was, okay, 50 euro multiplied by 10, which equals 500,000 million, billion, trillion, whatever, okay? And you must forgive me, I just realized you couldn't see that, so I'll just move down there, okay? Now, what I'm saying here is that national income will not rise by 500 euro in this case, because it was a leakage and it wasn't spent on the goods produced in the domestic economy. Okay, so Paul's income rose from 400 to 450 a week. His spending increased from 300 to 340. Okay, so the first thing we need to find now, and again I'll put a line under this so we can keep this clear what we're doing. So his income, the change in income, equals 450 minus 400, which equals 50. The change in spending, and I have to check because I'm old, as I say, okay, is 300 to 340. Okay, so it's 340 minus 300, which equals 40. Okay, so the MPC, therefore, equals the change in consumption over the change in income, which equals 40 over 50, and I worked that out as an MPC equal to 0.8. Okay, now we have to calculate the multiplier. And again, the multiplier in the simplest version is 1 over MPC. That's not true, 1 over 1 minus MPC. So what we've got is the multiplier equals 1 over 1 minus 0.8, which equals 1 over 0.2, which equals 5. Okay, that's 5. Now, multiplier 5. If everyone's MPC is the same in the economy, calculate the multiplier, and we've just done that, it's 5. What is the increase in national income if there is a new injection of 50 euro? Okay, well now I just want to make sure you can see. So the change in GDP equals the new injection multiplied by the multiplier equals 250. All right, so that's the change in GDP. All right, so what we're saying is if the injection was 50 billion, then with a multiplier of 5, that would cause national income to rise by 250 billion. Okay, guys, that's the simplest version of the multiplier. Again, as always, I really do hope that helps. And I look forward to seeing the next video where we discuss, it's either MPT or MPC or MPM, and then we build up the multiplier again in the video after that. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and hope to see you in the next video.